Welcome back on Diamond. Today I want to propose you a video about the unboxing review about the White Dwarf 473 released by the Consortium for February 2022. And this is an amazing White Dwarf. I admit that I missing the previous one of January, but that one it will arrive quite soon. There have been some misshapes about the delivery, so we see quite soon about it. So now we start to see about such White Dwarf. We can see from the cover that it's later about the Beasts of Chaos. So about it, there can be quite a lot of information that we can see quite available. And I really like such cover anyway. Here we can find the alternative cover of the White Dwarf that it's later about the Stormcast Titanas against the Beast of Chaos, and sincerely I don't know which one I like more because they're both beautiful cover. Remember that this it's the alternative cover that you can have if you subscribe to the White Dwarf, so think about it because it's quite interesting. Here there is an introduction about what is inside, so eventually you can think about. And now here we can see the contents that are inside the White Dwarf itself, so it can be quite a lot of contents available, and I really like such ones. And here we can see about the mailing list of the readers to the White Dwarf itself. I always suggest you to watch about such images and such articles because they can be quite interesting because you can have shining elements, basing, type of colors. For example, also this base set, it's quite simple but it's quite interesting. And if you go to see, we can find, for example, scheme of colors that are available, some modifying that can be inspiration. So I not suggest you to, okay, you have to follow this, you have to make something or so on, but admire the dioramas, think about what you are seeing and so on, decompose these things and see if there is something that can be interesting for you. Okay, there is a model that it's amazing and it's quite big and quite expensive, but it can be a suggestion about, for example, for something that you can realize, so it can be quite interesting. And now a bit of things related about Age of Sigmar, Beasts of Chaos, because they can be quite interesting. I like also because they're against the Saurus in this image. And we can see so about the Realmscape, and so a bit about the Flashpoint Crash. So you can find a lot of information to see about this, and I think that this let you understand better what are the options about Age of Sigmar, the background related about. So there are a lot of things, and such images add a lot to the atmosphere about the environment, so on, about the text itself, so that you can understand better about it. And then we have about the town selection, about the Beasts of Chaos, and so we have a lot of background. These type of articles are quite interesting because they let you or make deeper understanding about an army or know about an army. So I think that they are really quite interesting to know better. Moreover, because Age of Sigmar continue to develop, and here you can find often some little bit I can see inch bit of information and so on that can be quite interesting. And here we have the update of the Beast of Chaos Battletome. So if you're interested about this, it's something that you have to read because it's interesting. And about this was cool, but that was cool. I want to say you that inside here, the White Dwarf, there is also this one that you can take off and use to substitute the one that you have or use for your own uses. Otherwise, you can try to make a copy, a photocopy or so on of this and so print, but eventually you have also the physical, can say, version about. So remember that we have also the open play, the match play. So there are a lot of information here that can be useful to see. We have also the path to glory adapted to the new edition Dominion eventually. And here instead we have about the campaign that we can play. And sincerely, I'm not a fan about playing such a campaign in these years because there is a problem about pandemic and so on. But anyway, they are a good suggestion of what you can do and so on. And I suggest you to read because it can be an advertisement for such European or simply a way to play in the way that you are able to create your own playing. So I think that this can be quite awesome to use for different reasons. So think about such one. Then we had the Tale of Four Warlords, so we can see about the Age of Sigmar part, and so we can find how they progressed in creating their own armies. So we can find about the Luminet, we can find about the Chaos, so another band added, we can find about the Order of Mordor, and I always suggest you to go to see about such option, because they can give you a lot of ways. For example, this model that you can see here, as it's this one, it's a modified version of such one that I'm modifying and creating, that it's an endless spell, so it's a way to personalize. You can have a lot of ideas coming from such images if you study them a bit, so give it a try, because for example this one, it's a necromancer, but it's added in a different way, so it can be really quite a lot of options that you can gain from this. Here it's from Slanesh, for example. Here we have, for example, a way to play with the bases, and I want to remember you that in the description there is the place about the bases, so that you can find eventually some ideas about. And here images about the armies that they composed, and I think that can be quite interesting, not about the rules or about the balancing of such armies, but about the painting, the bases, and so on. For example, this one that can be quite interesting, so I suggest you to see about this, because they can give you a lot of ideas, and they are really a good thing to make a site about, because I think that for example they can make you know some models that you can appreciate, or some ideas to change a detail of a model that simply you never appreciated, so pay attention. Then we have an update about Warcry. So about this we have rules that can be interesting for the ones that play with them, and about this they can be quite interesting. I don't play Warcry, so I'm not the one that will go to say okay they're amazing or they're awful or so on, because I don't know, I don't play Warcry, so I can't value about such rules. Still remember that these are official rules, and so you can be interested about. And then we have about Warhammer 40k, with these that are the Sisters of Battle, that it's quite amazing as artwork. I really like a lot such artwork. And here we have a battle report that can be quite interesting, and as we can see we have here the Drukhari, with here new ones about the strategies that you can play with the Drukhari themselves, so I think that they can be quite interesting about. And here we have the other two sororitas, because we have seen the artwork before, it's about them, and it's a way to promote these models that has been renewed quite lately, and they're really quite amazing. And so here we have the battle report. As always, I suggest you to go to see about such battle report, because they are a way to understand strategies, if you're interested about the armies, about some of the units, because maybe you don't use, and you can see how they are on the battlefield, or simply how they can be modified, because you can see better detail about some things and so on, scheme of colors too, or simply know an army, because maybe you don't play, or you want to start to play an army, or the game itself, because maybe you want to start to play the game and you want to know how it's played, and here you have a summarize about it, so I think that can be really quite interesting to play with. And then, if before we have seen something related about the campaign about House, we had the campaign about 40k. So we have the flashpoint, and here, specifically one, we can see a lot of information about the background for 40k, and a lot of nice images, a bit of options that you can see about, for example, some tile or so on. And there are a lot of things that here can be really appreciated, because there are a lot of things. Here we have also a novel, a little part of the novel about, so I think that there is quite a lot of things that can make you deep inside the background of Warhammer 40k. And if we have seen before about the background, here a bit about the rules, so that we can see also about how to play the Crusade version of such tales and so on, and so we can make it deeper. And I think that for the ones that want to know about this, it's really good. As I said about the campaign for Age of Sigmar, I'm not a fan in this specific time of period about the pandemic, about this campaigns, but still they are really good. They are something that make you use them even later, so they are really quite something that I'm interested about. And then we have something really interesting, because we have an index Xenos that it's an upgrade about the Codex of the Elder. So it's something that it's wonderful, because Elder doesn't receive too often some upgrade, some more influence on officially. So this it's really quite useful. And so we have a lot of background here that could be quite interesting. And really, the only problem that you could have is if it works perfectly with the codex, that it's quite close to be released about the Elder or not. But I think that it will be still remain, because here we have the rules. So about these rules, remember that they are official. And I think that they will be remaining also with the new one, because I don't think that they will change such publishing after. But still, they are really quite amazing ones that you can really work with. And here we have about, for example, how to paint with such craft world. So I think that it will be quite interesting for the ones that want to try something different, for example, for your own Elder and so on. And this type of painting can be quite interesting for the ones that want, for example, to realize the gems or so on. So there are a lot of things. And here we have a part about the Imperial Knights change, modification, personalization, as you want to talk them. And they are really quite awesome ones. For example, these parts that you can see, this one and this one, comes from the Thrum Skull. So it's really quite interesting to see how simple detail can change completely the aspect of a model. And I really like such ones, because the Imperial Knights, I have some of them. Soon I publish something about, soon, when I can in my programming about. And there are a lot of options that you can use and have fun with, because are some models that even if I don't play usually, I like to have, and I like to have fun modifying, having, because I love such Imperial Knights models. And now something about a relatively new edition about the underworld, that it's Harrow Deep, and so the way to play with it and so on. And I don't talk about this because simply I'm not using such game, but still I want to remind you that in the description there is the playlist about some units about the underworld that I unboxed, some I modify and so on, that can be quite interesting if you're interested about maybe personalizing or so on, because they are really quite amazing model. Even if I don't like to play the game, I love the models that come with this game. And then something related about Adeptus Titanicus, but this I suggest you to read not only for Adeptus Titanicus, but cause the meaning, cause it's banner. And I think that this type of idea can be perfect suited for every army that comes with standards and so on, for both Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40k or other option. So I suggest you to think about. For example, here we have some standard that come here on this model of Adeptus Titanicus, but can be used for others. We can have some example, some scheme that we can apply and so on. So I think that these are really a good way to understand them, because we have, for example, this way that you can, for example, make a photocopy or so on to use and program what they are about. So this it's something that it's an horrific way, it's aesthetic way, but amazing way to personalize your model. So think about it. And then we have something really quite interesting, because it's something related about something born in the page of the White Dwarf itself, the chapter of the Tomb Keepers, that it's about the theme of the White Dwarf, because it's the chapter of the White Dwarf, really. And here we can find a lot of interesting things, because now they have also something related about the Black Library. So we can say that they have been really officially been taken by the Games Workshop. So we have, for example, here a novel that it's related about, and I really like, because it means that the books or so on are quite soon available about this. And it's something that I'm really looking to, because you can see that along the numbers of the White Dwarf, they've been deployed, developed, and increased the relevance of such chapters. So we have seen something that I really like how has been born, because maybe because I followed its developing along the years. So it's something that I really like, and the images can be also useful for you to have as a reference for some changing, for example. And here we have about what we see in the next White Dwarf, so we can find a lot of information on what we see soon. And something say me that we see soon something related about the sublight grievers, because there are quite a lot of things here related about them, because we see so to say about such White Dwarf, I think that it's really quite interesting, because there are a lot of interesting things. We have seen a lot about background, from Age of Sigmar to Warhammer 40k, with new Black Library option about the Tomb Keepers, that it's amazing. And we have a lot also about the rules. We've seen new rules about Warcry, we've seen new rules about the Elder with the Warhammer 40k, and the new rules about the Beasts of Chaos for Age of Sigmar. So a lot of things that really can make a lot of interesting options about the ones that are interested about such White Dwarf. Obviously, the other part is that the rules that are here you have to find here. So it's the problem where you can find if not you are not the White Dwarf itself. So if you're not buying the White Dwarf, you are missing something, and I think that this is the main thing about such implementing and developing of rules on the White Dwarf itself. Still, I think that it's quite interesting, because the White Dwarf it's really full of content, and it makes more and more worth the option to buy the White Dwarf collecting too, and eventually you have the subscribing to save some money eventually if you're interested, and having also the alternative cover. So if you're interested about, so it can be really quite useful. Anyway, from Dynamod it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video, or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again to the next time.